Welcome to class tonight. I do hope that you all are doing well. Tonight we're actually going to be working on something that should be pretty familiar to you. We're going to be working on graphing and displaying data. Now let's go started on page 648. So go and open your books to page 648. As you turn there, let's go and talk about the standard very quickly. Standard 6 says, visual displays and summary statistics of one variable data condense the information into data sets into usable knowledge. Now, that's a bunch of big words for the simple idea that graphing and displaying data is very helpful and important, and it makes data usable. Okay, that's what we're talking about. It's making graphs help us take a bunch of random numbers and put order behind a bunch of random numbers. I would definitely encourage you guys to check out chapter 7. That's going to be the best place to study for this specific standard. Now let's go and get started then. We're actually going to start off with the mean, median, and then range of each data set. Now you'll notice I did actually change the directions. The directions in the book say find the mean, median, and mode. Well, we're not going to worry about the mode because the mode will not be on TCAP, but we are going to focus on the range. So let's go and review very quickly. The mean is simply the average. So we're going to take all our numbers, we're going to add them all up, and then we're going to find, then we're going to divide by that number of terms. So in this case, I'm going to add all these numbers up, and so you guys can watch how I do this. So 3 plus 6 is 9, 10, 11, that's 16, 17, 18, that's going to be 26, 27, and 28. So I have 28, so I need to add a 2 up here. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17. So my total, when I add all these up, is 178. So 178, and I'm going to divide it by my number of terms, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to divide by the number of terms, well that's 2. 16, figure that would be 8, so that's 8 times 8 goes in 18 2 times. Now I'm actually going to add some zeros just to make it a little better for myself. So that's 2, bring down my 0, 8 will go into 20, once again 2 times. So that right there is going to be my mean. My mean is going to be around 22 and 2/10. Okay, it's going to be a little bigger actually if you were to completely divide it out, but that's what it will look like. So that, first of all, is mean. Now, median. Our median is simply the middle number. So what we need to do, we need to take all these numbers right here, and we need to organize them from biggest to smallest. So we're going to start with 10. Then we're going to go 22, 22. So we got that one, that one, that one. Oh, another 22. That one. And then 23, 25, and 26. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, oh, missing a number. Oh, and 28. There we go. Alright, so I have my numbers. I've ordered them from smallest to greatest. So I'm going to find the middle number. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, so what I need to do is I need to average those two numbers. When I have an even number, I need to take the two middle ones and average them. So I'm going to go 22, and so 22 plus 23 is going to be 45. 45 divided by 2 is going to be, that's 2. So my answer is 22.2. So my median, once again, I take my numbers, line them up from biggest to smallest, and then find the middle number. In this case, I had two middle numbers, so I had to average the two. And then finally, range. Now, range is simply the we take the smallest number and subtract it from the biggest number. That's all it is. Take the smallest number and subtract it from the biggest number. So the smallest number is going to be 10. So I take 10, and I'm going to subtract it from the biggest number, 28. 28 minus 10, and so our range is simply 18. And so there you go. I have mean, median, and then range. Alright, next we're going to be talking about frequency tables and then line plots. Now remember, when we talked about this in class, we learned about the idea that you can actually see the shape of data. You can see what numbers had the biggest, what numbers had the fewest, the biggest amount and the fewest amount. Those ideas are going to be very helpful for us as we look at data. So here I have a list of data. I have books read each month. Okay? So we're going to use this data. We're going to use it to go ahead and make some frequency tables, or make a frequency table, and then also we're going to be making a line plot. Okay? So frequency table and line plot. Now, if you don't remember, a frequency table looks a lot like a tally chart. So all you're going to do, I have my options here. I'm going to use red for this one. I have my options here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, those are my options. So let's see. How many times do we get 1, 2, 3, and then 4? So those are my options. Now I need to do my tallies. And in here I'm going to have my frequency, or the number of times it was chosen. So here I have 1, 2, 3. So I have 3 ones. So there you go. So my frequency is going to be 3. Now my next one, 2s. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. So I'm also going to write through 2, 3. So, all right, now let's do our 3s. So I see 1, 3, 2 3s, and then finally 4. So 1, 4, 2, 3, and then 4. And so there you go. I have my frequency table right there. Now let's go and do a line plot. Now line plots are very, very simple. All we're doing is taking our choices right here, these choices. We're taking these choices and we're going to put them on the horizontal axis this time. So the vertical axis, like they're on right now, we're going to put them on their horizontal axis and then build up. See, all I'm going to do is this. So my choices are 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So those are my choices. Now I'm going to say, all right, so 3, so I put 3 x's. 2 also got 3 x's. 3 only got 2 x's. And 4 gets 4. And so there you go. I have my frequency table right there, and then this is going to be my line plot. And I can see, especially with the line plot, I can see the shape of the data. I see, well, we didn't get a lot of students reading 3 books, but we got a lot of students reading 4 books, and that's good. So it shows us the shape of the data. All right, finally, to end up this video, we're going to be talking about what graphs represent, some different things that graphs represent. Now, with a line graph simply shows us the data. We see right here, I see, well, if you can see it in the book, I would definitely look at your book with this one. I know my picture is kind of weak. So right here, I can see that 100 people chose, or so magazines were read for 100 hours. Newspapers were read for about 175 hours. And then books are read for about, well, just about 100 hours as well. So it just shows me the data like that. A circle graph shows me percentages of people who did this. So in this case, Melinda's budget. So insurance took up that much of her budget. Clothing took up that much. Food took up that much. So circle graphs show a percentage. Now I don't have one up here, but I would strongly encourage you guys to check out line graphs, because line graphs always show change over time. And that's key. Line graphs show change over time. Line graphs are not going to show the same data that a bar graph is going to, because a bar graph does not show change over time. A bar graph just shows the data. Line graphs show change over time. Now I put this picture up here because I want to do number 7 and 8, and I can't do it very well if I don't have the bar graph, so I did this up there too. Alright, so number 7 says what information is given on each axis. So we're going to look at this axis right here, and then this axis right there. Those are the axes. So the bottom axis shows us what was read, and this tells us how long they read. Okay? So the axis, so the information is what was read, and then how much was read. And number 8, what was the average yearly reading time for books? So I'm going to look at books way over here. I'm going to see my bar graph. I'm going to trace it back all the way here, and so I see about 100 hours. Okay? So we can use a bar graph just to go ahead and see what kind of data was there. Alright, well, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for tonight. Pretty short, pretty simple, should be pretty easy, so I hope that's the case. Now guys, please make sure you bring your notes. Even though this should be easy, you still need to make sure you have your notes for class tomorrow. Have a great night, and we will see you all in the morning.